Some men still don't understand this simple truth. A lot of women don't get angry because you lied. They get angry because you told the truth. Not the soft, sugar-coated, I'm trying not to hurt you truth, but the raw, unfiltered, masculine truth that exposes what they've been trying to hide, even from themselves. Women think they want honesty, until honesty forces them to confront the parts of themselves they're not ready to deal with. That's why you can compliment her, agree with her, worship her, and everything is fine. But the moment you calmly, confidently tell her something that doesn't fit the image she has of herself, suddenly you are rude, toxic, cold, disrespectful, or emotionally unavailable. What's happening isn't emotional chaos, it's ego damage. Because when a man speaks the truth without fear of losing her, he becomes something terrifying, a man she can't control. And women are not wired to feel safe with a man they can't influence, so instead of accepting the truth, they attack the source of it, you. So if you've ever wondered why she explodes when you simply tell her what's real, just know, the truth isn't what hurts her. The truth destroys the illusion she built to protect her emotions. Let's break down exactly why some women go crazy when you tell them the truth, and how a man can stay calm, centered, and unbothered through it all. Point 1. The truth breaks her self-image. Every woman walks around with two versions of herself, the version she really is and the version she believes she is. The first one is built from actions, behavior, responsibility, and patterns. The second one is built from emotions, excuses, and personal narrative. Most men never challenge the second version. They just go along with whatever she believes because they don't want conflict, drama, or emotional explosions. But when a man speaks the truth, he doesn't speak to the fantasy. He speaks to the reality, and that's where the war begins. Women protect their self-image like it's oxygen. If she believes she's kind, she will ignore every selfish thing she's ever done. If she believes she's loyal, she will mentally delete every moment she entertained another man. If she believes she's independent, she will overlook every time someone else paid her bills. The truth doesn't hurt her. It threatens the identity she is desperately trying to maintain. You aren't just saying words, you're ripping off the mask. Most men let her keep the mask on because they want peace. But when you strip it away, she's forced to look at herself without filters. And that's terrifying. The anger isn't about what you said. The anger is about what she now has to face. A woman who is emotionally mature will react with reflection. A woman who is emotionally fragile will react with rage. That's why she calls you mean, cold, harsh, or not understanding. It's not that you're wrong, it's that your truth doesn't support the story she tells herself to sleep better at night. When you speak truth, you're not just disagreeing, you're undoing the identity she built to feel like the hero of her own life. That's why some women don't just resist the truth, they attack the source of it. Because if the truth is real, then everything they believe about themselves might not be. Point 2. The truth removes her power to manipulate. One of the biggest reasons some women lose control when you tell them the truth is because truth kills their ability to shape the narrative. As long as you stay silent, agreeable, or understanding, she controls the emotional frame. She can twist the story, justify her actions, play the victim, or flip the blame onto you. And most men fall for it because they're afraid of being labeled the bad guy. But the moment you speak direct truth without fear, you cut the strings she was using to move you like a puppet. See, manipulation doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks like guilt. Sometimes it looks like tears. Sometimes it looks like you're overreacting or you don't understand me. But every manipulation has one goal, to make you doubt yourself so she can keep doing what benefits her. When you speak the truth, you remove the confusion. You remove the emotional fog. You remove her ability to hide behind excuses. And now she can no longer control the outcome. And that's when the panic starts. A woman who can't manipulate you emotionally doesn't feel safe, not because you're dangerous, but because she can't control the consequences of her actions anymore. Some women would rather be in a relationship built on delusion they can manage than truth they can't control. You exposing reality takes away their most effective weapon, emotional leverage. That's why she suddenly says things like, "Why are you being so harsh? You're making me feel attacked. You didn't have to say it like that." Translation: Stop telling the truth, I can't manipulate it. A man who tells the truth calmly is the most dangerous kind of man to someone who relies on emotional advantage. He can't be guilt-tripped. He can't be gaslit. He can't be controlled through tears, silence, or drama. Once she realizes you're not playing the game, the only option left is explosion, anger, denial, accusations, or deflection. But here's the twist. A woman who truly respects you may not like the truth, but she won't fight it. She'll adjust. A woman who only wanted control will fight you, not the truth. So don't mistake chaos for emotion. Sometimes it's just a failed manipulation attempt. Point 3. The truth forces accountability. Most people don't hate the truth. They hate the responsibility that comes with it. And for some women, accountability is the one thing they will run from harder than anything else in life. As long as no one calls them out, they can keep believing they are good people with good intentions, no matter how much damage they caused, how many lies they told, or how many double standards they used. Truth is dangerous because truth demands ownership, and ownership destroys the comfort of excuses. When you confront her with real facts instead of emotional interpretation, she can no longer hide behind, I didn't mean it, or that's not what I was trying to do. Now she has to face the reality that her actions had consequences, and not every woman is built to handle that kind of psychological mirror. Most men don't push for accountability because society trained them to keep the peace and avoid upsetting a woman. That's why so many women go through life without ever hearing a man look them in the eye and say, "You caused this. You were wrong. You made that choice. You hurt people, and now you're pretending to be the victim." When a man refuses to sugarcoat, suddenly she can't play innocent anymore. She can't rewrite the past to make herself look like the misunderstood angel. She can't use her emotions as a shield against reality. That's when the emotional meltdown begins, because truth corners her ego into a place where only two options exist: checkmark grow up and accept what she did, break down, and attack the person forcing the accountability. Sadly, many choose the second option because breaking down is emotionally easier than growing up. That's why some women start arguments when they're caught, not because they want clarity, but because the argument is a distraction from self-reflection. If she makes you the problem, she never has to fix herself. So when she explodes after hearing the truth, remember this: you didn't cause the chaos. You exposed what she was trying to bury. And here's the masculine frame. You are not responsible for her reaction to truth. She is responsible for her reaction to reality. A mature woman will say, "You're right. I needed to hear that." An immature one will say, "You're attacking me." That's how you instantly know the difference. Point 4. The truth exposes double standards. One of the fastest ways to trigger emotional chaos in certain women is to shine a light on the double standards they benefit from. As long as no one questions them, they can demand honesty while lying, loyalty while entertaining options, effort while giving the bare minimum, and respect while showing none. Truth threatens the system because it levels the playing field, and equality is only attractive when it benefits them, not when it holds them accountable. Most men don't call out the double standard because they're afraid of being labeled controlling, insecure, or toxic. But the moment you calmly point out the hypocrisy, not emotionally, not angrily, but logically, you break the invisible rule: don't expose the parts of the system that favor me. Example: she expects you to ignore every male friend she has, but she explodes the moment you casually talk to a woman. She wants you to be emotionally available, but she shuts down the moment the topic requires her to mature. She wants total freedom, but also total protection. She wants the benefits of independence, but the privileges of dependence. When you point this out, you're not just telling the truth, you're exposing the uneven power dynamic she was enjoying. That's why she suddenly says things like, "You're twisting things. You're overthinking. You're being dramatic." Translation: stop pointing out the rules I only wanted you to follow, not me. Some women don't get angry because you're wrong. They get angry because you're right. And now they can't use the emotional system they built to keep the advantage. Truth forces fairness, and fairness removes special treatment. And once the privilege is gone, so is the control. What most men don't realize is this: arguments with these women aren't about facts. They're about protecting the imbalance. You're not fighting her emotions. You're fighting the system that kept her comfortable. And when you stop playing by unspoken rules, she has two choices: respect the man who can't be manipulated by double standards, attack him for changing or becoming cold. Because he stopped playing along, here's the masculine reality. If the truth destroys the relationship was built on lies. A woman who truly values you will adjust the standard so both sides are equal. A woman who only valued the advantage will call you the villain for noticing. Point 5. The truth removes emotional leverage. A lot of women don't fear the truth itself. They fear what the truth takes away from them. And one of the biggest losses is emotional leverage. As long as you're unsure, apologetic, confused, or trying to keep her happy, she has the upper hand. She controls the emotional climate of the relationship. When there's tension, when there's peace, when there's intimacy, and when there's distance. But when a man speaks truth with calm certainty, he takes back the emotional steering wheel. And that is what triggers the explosion. Because emotional leverage is power. If she can make you feel guilty, she can control you. If she can make you doubt yourself, she can direct you. If she can make you fear losing her, she can dictate the terms. But if your truth is stronger than her emotions, suddenly she can't bend you anymore. That's why some women get furious not because of what you said, but because of what it means. You're not scared to upset her. You're not scared to lose her. You're not scared to stand alone. When you speak the truth calmly, without yelling, without pleading, without emotional weakness, you shatter the emotional chains she was using to keep control. And now she has two options: regulate her emotions like an adult, or go into chaos mode, hoping the noise will weaken your resolve. Notice something. A woman who is used to controlling men through drama will always escalate when it stops working. Not because she's emotional, but because emotional pressure was her strategy. Silence, coldness, guilt trips, victim role, sudden tears, all of these are leverage tools designed to make you retract your truth and surrender to her emotional world. But once she realizes the emotional weapons no longer work on you, she feels powerless. And for some women, powerlessness feels like danger. That's why she calls you heartless, uncaring, changed, or distant. She's not describing your behavior. She's describing her loss of influence. Masculine truth creates a shift that terrifies the manipulative ego. When she can't move your emotions, she can't move you. And here's the lesson. A woman who loves you will respect a man who stands in truth. A woman who only wanted control will hate him for it. Because when a man stops being emotionally controlled, he stops being owned. Point 6. The truth shows you're not afraid to lose. Her nothing scares an insecure or manipulative woman more than a man who tells the truth without fearing the consequences. Most men don't tell the full truth because they're terrified of her reaction. What if she gets mad? What if she leaves? What if she pulls away? What if she stops loving me? And that fear becomes her silent power. She doesn't have to threaten anything. She just has to make you believe you'll lose her if you upset her. And once a man is scared to lose a woman, he becomes emotionally obedient. But when you speak the truth with zero fear, when you'd rather keep your integrity than keep her approval, something shifts. Suddenly she realizes, this man is not attached in a way I can control. He doesn't need me. He chooses me. He's not scared of my silence, my attitude, or my withdrawal. That realization doesn't just shock her, it exposes her weakness. Because here's the secret. A man who is not afraid to lose a woman instantly becomes more powerful than the man who is trying to keep her. And that power doesn't come from ego, it comes from self-respect. It tells her, I don't bend my reality to protect your emotions. I don't lie to keep the peace. I don't lower my standards to avoid conflict. I don't betray myself to keep you. Women test men constantly to see which category they fall into. The man who will sacrifice truth to keep her, or the man who will sacrifice her rather than abandon truth. If she realizes you are the latter, she can't manipulate you with distance, rejection, silence, sex, guilt, or emotional storms. The tools stop working. The leash disappears. And now she has to decide: respect the man she can't control, attack the man she can't control. That's why the truth makes some women go crazy. because behind the anger is panic. I can't control him anymore. But the masculine reality is this: a woman's respect is never earned by fearfully holding on to her. It's earned by being willing to walk away if the price is your self-respect. A man who will lie to keep her will eventually lose her, and himself. A man who will tell the truth and risk losing her is the man she will never forget. Because whether she admits it or not, women don't fall in love with men they can control. They fall in love with men they can't break. Point 7. The truth makes you stand out from other men. Whether she admits it or not, most women are used to dealing with men who filter their words, soften their opinions, and hide their real thoughts just to avoid a woman's emotional reaction. Society trains men to stay polite, stay agreeable, don't hurt her feelings, and don't make her uncomfortable. But when you are the rare man who doesn't bend to that social conditioning, you immediately separate yourself from 99% of men she has ever dealt with. Most men speak in a way that asks for approval. Masculine men speak in a way that does not require it. That difference is magnetic and terrifying. She's used to men flattering her, praising her, agreeing with her, validating her, or tolerating her contradictions. But you give her something rare: reality. And reality is the one thing she can't buy with beauty, emotions, or charm. When a man tells the truth without needing to be liked, something awakens in her psychology. On one hand, she hates it because it challenges her ego. On the other hand, she feels it because it demands respect. She may argue with you in the moment, but she will remember what you said when she's alone. She may call you harsh today, but she will replay your words tomorrow. And while she might call other men nice, she calls you unforgettable. Why? Because truth-telling men don't fear loss. They don't fear being misunderstood. They don't fear not being chosen. They tell the truth because they live from internal strength, not external approval. That energy is rare. That energy is masculine. And that energy creates polarity. Women test men not because they want to destroy them, but because they want to feel a man who is unshakable. Most men fold under pressure. Most men apologize just to escape conflict. Most men backtrack the moment she looks upset. But when you say the truth, hold the frame, stay calm, and don't back down. She subconsciously recognizes, this is a man I can't control, but maybe I can trust. Because here's the paradox: women may get triggered by the truth in the moment, but they lose respect for any man who hides it forever. You become a reference point, the man who didn't lie to her to keep her, the man who didn't shrink to avoid conflict, the man who didn't sacrifice truth to stay liked. That kind of man doesn't just stand out. He becomes the standard she measures other men against. You don't win her with comfort. You win her with clarity, certainty, and unapologetic truth. In the end, the truth is not what makes some women explode. It's what the truth reveals. It exposes the ego, shatters the illusion, removes the emotional power, and forces a mirror in front of someone who built their identity on comfort instead of accountability. A woman doesn't go crazy because you told her the truth. She reacts because the truth removes her ability to hide from herself. If she truly respects you, she will calm down, reflect, and rise to the level of honesty you're operating at. If she doesn't, she will attack you, blame you, accuse you, or try to guilt you into backing down. Not because you're wrong, but because she can't control the frame anymore. So remember this: a weak man lies to avoid losing her. A strong man tells the truth and lets the wrong woman remove herself. The right woman will respect truth, even when it hurts. The wrong woman will fight truth because it exposes her. Your job as a man is not to manage her emotions. It is to stand on your truth without apology. A woman can only manipulate the man who fears her reaction, but she can only respect the man who fears nothing, not even losing her. If the truth costs you a woman, she was the wrong woman. If the truth earns you a woman, she was the right one. And the man who stands on truth never loses anything worth keeping.